In the aftermath of the incident, Hershey Park Arena was used as an evacuation center. Most of those who were staying there were pregnant women and children who were asked to evacuate by Governor Thornburg. Red Cross volunteers were on hand providing food, bedding, and medical assistance.
David, how many people are you housing at the Hershey Arena?
At the height of the operation, we're 147 people in here. Right now, about 110 or so are right here in the arena. The cots and feeding facilities, all throughout the area here.
Volunteers also provided the children with entertainment, including magic shows, games, television, and even a trip to Zoo America.
As the accident was unfolding, people who lived nearby and all around the region were desperate for news about what was going on. Would they have to evacuate? Was their health in danger?
Journalists, first from the Susquehanna Valley, then from across the country and the world, worked around the clock to try to find out what was going on.
WGAL News 8's Jerry Gish talked to some of the first journalists on the scene that day.
Many in the local news media remember exactly where they were when they first heard about something going on at 3 Mile Island. WGAL anchor and reporter Dick Hawksworth was riding in a news vehicle mid-morning, heading to Harrisburg.
We got a call on the radio in the car and saying, hey Dick, something's happening at 3 Mile Island. We don't know, but there's something going on.
Dick quickly headed to the plant, but there was really nothing to see.
There was a state police car parked along 441 outside the gate, but that was it. There was no other activity around. So I walked over and asked the trooper if he knew what was going on. He said, don't have the slightest idea. There was no such thing as cell phones back then. So I couldn't pick up my cell phone and call somebody and say, hey, tell me what's going on at 3 Mile. So we went into Middletown, found a phone booth, and I called the state police. And he said, Dick, all I know is I heard from MedEd in Reading that there is a general emergency. He said, I have no idea what that means. We could get no answers.
That was just the beginning of a frustrating week for journalists as they tried to find out exactly what had happened inside the TMI reactor. Ed Wickenheiser was the first reporter on the scene that morning. At the time, he was a radio reporter and went on to be a longtime news director at WGAL.
You had no concept of how this was going to unfold, At that time, that was the biggest story going down. And you had no idea how long it's going to last. It could have been 3 days, 4 days. Turns out it was weeks.
Longtime WGL reporter Jim Singovitz was working for another local TV station at the time. He remembers first hearing about the situation at 3 Mile Island on the radio driving into work that day. He headed to the scene after his newsroom wasn't getting any answers or info.
It became apparent that there was a problem on the island that we weren't hearing about.
When the power company, Metropolitan Edison, realized that they were going to have to say something and address the media, they sent Jack Herbine, the company's vice president of generation. He wasn't experienced in dealing with reporters.
Knew about nuclear reactors, knew nothing about public relations. He was not public relations savvy. He didn't want to be. In dealing with the media, he was clearly out of his comfort zone. I think that Herbine and his crew really didn't know what was going on. There was some kind of an accident there, but exactly how serious it was, they weren't quite sure. So right from the start, they tried to downplay it. And with MedEd and Herbine, understating became an art form.
The media briefings soon became confrontational.
I guess that there are points where there are no guarantees. There's no guarantee, sir, that you won't be struck by a meteorite tomorrow.
It became frustrating because one moment they would tell you one thing was happening, and then the next moment that they would say, well, no, it's not, it's nothing, there's no danger. And that's what was so frustrating, because we had this feeling that we were not getting the facts. We were not getting credible information. It was like the people who were supposed to know what was going on didn't have the slightest idea what was going on.
We think it is prudent to go step by step. So certainly the picture is different today than it was 2 days ago when I reported to you.
Well, how many times can you come back and say it's worse than we originally thought before your credibility crumbles away?
Along with searching for facts, reporters were trying to quickly learn about a subject they knew little or nothing about.
The networks brought in a guy by the name of, we call him Harry Radiation for short. But he was a nuclear expert, and he came in and he basically tried to make sense out of what was happening.
Things eventually started to change a bit when several days into the crisis, President Jimmy Carter sent Harold Denton, an official with the Nuclear Regulatory Agency.
The crisis won't be over until we have the core in a cold shutdown mode. That is, where the temperatures and pressures below the boiling point.
They were speaking a language we didn't understand. But Denton came, spoke plain English, and he immediately garnered our trust.
Hundreds of media members from around the country and around the world flocked to TMI for the story. And some of the local reporters were concerned about a more sensational tone from the national networks.
It was kind of frustrating to hear these people say, well, the National Guard's been called in. The National Guard hasn't been called in for anything. But it just place is going to explode, and that's the last thing we want to tell, you know, our families and our audience and our friends, that this place is going to blow up. And in fact, you know, there was never any indication that was the point.
And the reporters were not only working long hours covering a major story, they were at the same time concerned about their health and safety, and for their families as well.
We're flying down Front Street to get on 83 to get down the island. And all of a sudden I said, John, pull over. What? There's an uncontrolled release of radiation, a hydrogen bubble. Why are we running towards it? You know, why are we running towards something that's very potentially dangerous? So we pulled over and we went to the county office to find out more about it. So in addition to covering this thing, in the back of your mind is this fear that, you know, the worst is going to happen.
You're dealing with the unknown. You're dealing with something you can't see, you can't touch, you can't smell, you can't hear, but you know it's out there. How much of it is out there? Well, you don't know. But you put that aside because you've got a job to do.
Many of the journalists work long days for a week or more straight through and look back now, 40 years later, on one of the biggest stories of their careers.
It was a huge, huge story, and one that we had to find out and learn about very quickly, and we found out just how little we knew at the time. Yeah, it was scary. People depended immensely on information because they were concerned, like everyone else was, about their future, you know, whether or not they got to get out of here and whether or not we're ever going to be able to come back to our homes. So information was key.
Yeah, the biggest thing was to keep calm and cool. Okay, don't explode. Don't put the panic voice, you know, out there on the airwaves and so forth. Just keep it calm. You go back and you look on it now and you say, you know, we did contribute something, even if it was just a little snippet, you know, but it all became part of the so-called big story.
Interesting times, frustrating times, scary times. You've got to get the information, the facts as to what is happening, because there are people out there who are concerned for their lives. You know, I think back and I realize what was going on as far as WGAL, our job and how we did it. And I think through all of the frustration, all the chaos, trying to sort through all the misinformation, we did our job. I think we did it well.
Middletown is often the first community people remember when they think about 3 Mile Island. But right across the Susquehanna River, in the shadow of the cooling towers, is Goldsboro, York County. Coming up next, we hear from residents who lived there as the crisis unfolded and still call the small river town their home to this day.